Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Check them out online, guaranteehealth.com, guaranteehealth.com. Tigers dropped the series to Sacramento State. LSU's lost now 4 games pre-conference for the first time since 2007. I know a guy that was on the team in 2007, also helps out on the LSU Sports Radio Network. That is Buzzy. Haydel joins us now on the Jim's Firearm Sideline. Buzz, how we doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Hunt. Man, was it 2007? You sure it wasn't like 2014 when I wasn't on that team?
No, 2007 is what I'm told. How much did you contribute to those 4 pre-conference losses?
I may have to check. I may have to check Bill Franquez. This might be like the only time he's ever been wrong in the history of his life. No, I know he's not wrong. He's right. I get it. I don't think I started. No, I don't think I started many games during that time.
I want to say y'all went to Stetson and got swept. Does that sound right?
We did.
And then I want to say you dropped one to Lipscomb as well. Did that happen?
Could have dropped 2, but who's counting? You know.
All right, let's talk about this team. It's not hard to count the runs they score because there's not very many if you take Friday's game out of the equation. What are you seeing from LSU offensively? This is kind of a 2-week rut.
Well, offensively, it's they're just not getting a lot of hits, and they're not getting a lot of timely hits. I mean, if you look, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would think left on base numbers probably been pretty high. And I always look at that too. I mean, it's not just hitting, but it's hitting with guys in scoring position and really just getting quality at bats. I mean, we talked about it all the time when I remember when we played, and I know this is nothing new, but you know, baseball and hitting is such a tough thing to do. You know, you always hear you can fail 70% of the time and still be a Hall of Famer, but so you got to think of other ways to put yourself in a positive mindset, and that's what quality at bats is. You don't always have to get a hit, but you've got to do things that help the team. Move the baseball, you know, get a butt down, guy at second base, get him to third with less than 2 outs. Just you don't always have to, you know, put up 15 hits a game and you know, offensively, but you do have to get quality at bats. And if you put enough quality at bats together, you know, you look up at the scoreboard and things should take care of themselves if you've done a good job of recruiting the right players and all that. So, that's my big thing is they're not 1 through 9. They're just not putting enough good at bats together, enough quality at bats. I mean, I think I saw today they're 14th out of 16 teams, so third to last in the league in hitting, last in pitching, and last in fielding. So right now they're just not a very good baseball team, Hunt, and that doesn't mean they're going to be a bad baseball team for the entirety of the year. That doesn't mean that's what they're going to be, or what, you know, once it's all said and done. But right now they're not very good, and you can look at the stats and it'll tell you with 16 SEC teams they're damn near dead last in most categories.
Yeah, left 10 on base on Saturday, left 8 on base on Sunday in the 2 games that they lost. Only 5 left on base in 6 innings of work on Friday when they went nuts and scored 15 runs on 15 hits. Hit 6 home runs. As far as the platooning that Jay is doing, you're seeing a different lineup just about every day. Ruckert in a couple of days, Mason Braun in a couple of days, Daniel Harden comes in for a couple of days, Simpson's in and out, Cerna plays on Saturdays. Like, do you like using that depth, trying to mix and match, or would you rather find a little bit more concrete 9?
Well, if I was on the team, I'd like to be the guy platooning, right? Because I was kind of that guy a little bit when, and you'd always want your chance when somebody else is not doing it, but it does. You know, it does make it hard to get in a rhythm, and yeah, I think they really haven't found their. You know, Jay's done this a few times. I mean, you know, we always used to say there was a certain guys that would only leave the lineup in a pine box. Blake Dean was one of them.
Yep.
You know, you'd put Blake Dean in the lineup before you put anybody else in the lineup because
the Gibbs kid could hit too.
Yeah, I mean, those guys never came out the lineup, so. You have your constants that are going to stay in there, and then, but yes, it makes it tough for the guys that are vying for a spot to you get into a rhythm and be comfortable. And with that being said, that's college baseball, though. I mean, that unfortunately there's not 162 games, so you can't let him sit in there for 3 weeks if he's not doing a job. I mean, you've got to see who is going to rise up and get the job done. When the time is now, because there's not that many games and the season's too long and the pressure's too high at LSU. Doesn't matter, even Jay Johnson. I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's not feeling much pressure going 2 national championships in 3 years. But LSU, you need to win, and you need to win right away. And so there's not much time for that. But you could tell they definitely don't. Other than, you tell me, Hunt. Other than Milam on the infield, who are you absolutely confident with? Right now at plate. And there's not many. Even. We all thought York at first was just going to, pencil in 25 homers and he'd be good to go. But we're starting to see that how important Jared Jones was last year, a big bopper in the middle of those lineups. And you look just about every national champion, not just about, probably every national championship game or team you've seen. We've had a big bopper in that lineup that scares you. And right now, LSU doesn't have that. Again, can York be that guy and be the guy in the middle lineup that can hit you 20 homers? We think he can, but we're not seeing it yet, and that's not picking on York. We hadn't seen it offensively from a lot of guys, and so that's what's the issue at the moment.
Let's put a number on it, like 0 is you're just not concerned at all about the season-long offense, and 10 is fire everybody. Like, where are you on your worry level that LSU is not going to come out of this rut?
Can I chalk to you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks in the SEC and give you that number?
Sure.
No, this is what I tell people. I'll answer that question with the number here shortly, but I'm like, the reality is if they go to Nashville this weekend and win 2 or 3, it's like, who cares?
Exactly.
If you lost to UL Lafayette, and not to get on the Moscona, non-conference games don't matter, but they don't matter when you go take care of business in the SEC.
Yeah.
But I guess, listen, I guess there's I'll put it at, God, boy, this is going to be such just a on the fence guy. This is what Ronnie gets mad. Ronnie Rance gets mad at me all the time. But I'll tell you this: 0, not concerned. 10, fire everybody. Let's go with a 3.
Okay, that's relatively low, and I think that's where a lot of people are. But it's just a growing funk that's been there for 2 weeks. On the other side, I didn't think the starting pitching was bad over the weekend. Kason Evans was perfect through 5 innings. He looked the best he's looked all year. I think William Schmidt's had 3 really nice outings in a row, and Cooper Moore has had 2 stellar outings. Wasn't as good on Saturday of this week, but he held the rope into the 5th inning, and his offense just didn't help him at all. How do you feel about LSU's weekend rotation?
Yeah, well, look, you got 3 guys and it's the old baseball saying, right? You just want your starter to keep your team in it, to give yourself a chance. But truly, that's what the pitching, especially the starting pitching, has done. Again, you put everything together, and it looks like a bad baseball team when the pitching's down in the SEC. We don't field it very well right now, which is uncharacteristic of LSU baseball, particularly since we come off a season last year, which it was the best ever. And then we're not hitting. So you put it all 3 together, and everything just looks a little worse than probably it really is. But no, pitching, I'm a Cooper Moore fan. I was impressed with him. It was the first time I've seen him with my own eyes live and in color on Saturday. There was a ton of strikes. I'm a big – when you could throw strikes in any counts with any pitch, which is pretty much what he does,
yep.
That guy can pitch for me. That starts in like Little League. You know what I mean? If you throw enough strikes, then I'll put you out there. I don't care if you throw 7 miles an hour. But Cooper Moore's I really like him. Kason Evans, we know he strikes. He's got like a gazillion strikeouts in 19 innings. I'm not really concerned about him. And then William Schmidt has made a jump as far as throwing the ball over the plate. The velocity's up. Do you want him to be better? Sure, because again, the offense isn't scoring 8 and 9 runs a game other than the Friday game. But if everybody was hitting on all cylinders and we were catching the ball behind them and hitting like we know this team can hit or we think they can hit, I think everybody would be more high even on the pitching side of things. Because look, I was actually shocked when I read that stat today too, Hunt, that LSU's dead last in pitching.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have thought that. And then you go look at the numbers, okay, they are. So, yeah, it's just a lot of bad things, and it snowballs. And so I think it looks worse than it is. That's why I'll go with the level 3 of worriness on your chart
On the scale. Yeah. We shall see. Hopefully they get things squared away. They got Creighton on Tuesday. He'll come in from Omaha, and then they'll play up in Nashville over the weekend against Vanderbilt before they come home and tangle with Oklahoma in the conference home opener next weekend. Buzz, we appreciate some time, man.
All right, thank you.
Buzzy Haydel, LSU Sports Radio Network Tiger National Champion, and a guy that was on the 07 team when LSU last lost 4 games in the pre-conference. It's been a bumpy go for LSU for 2 weeks now. They got to find a way to get things figured out. I'm going to give some thoughts on some personnel decisions Jay Johnson has made. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Started up in 1910. That's 116 years ago, and they are still going strong and growing. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. What does 25 locations mean? Well, it means a couple things. One, there's always one near you in South Louisiana. 2, it means they've got the resources you need for your commercial loan, for your personal loan. Just because I tell you that they're a community bank because they're part of our community doesn't mean they're a mom and pop shop. They just have people that are interwoven into the fabric of your community making decisions here locally. That's the customer service aspect of it. That's First American Bank and Trust. But they've got the resources you need. If you're looking for a commercial loan, First American Bank and Trust. You're looking for a personal loan, First American Bank and Trust. Doesn't matter if you're in Hammond. Doesn't matter if you're down in Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne. Maybe you're up Tangipahoa. Maybe you're right in Dutchtown, Jones Creek. Maybe you're over in Metairie. No matter where you are in Southeast Louisiana, there is a First American Bank and Trust nearest you. Stop by and see them. Trust them with all your commercial banking needs. It's First American Bank and Trust.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Guarantee Health Solutions brings you our Monday shows. Check them out online, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. You're going, what is Guarantee Health Solutions? Well, I'll tell you what Guarantee Health Solutions is. It's a national healthcare partner that's focused on the growth in the healthcare space. If you're an urgent care, dental office, medical clinic, hospital, anywhere in the healthcare space, Guarantee Health Solutions is here to help you grow. If you're having trouble getting patients in the door, they can help you with that. You're concerned about your patient experience, they can help you with that. Don't know where to start from a marketing perspective, they can help you with that. They can do a website evaluation, SEO optimization, they can handle events, they do traditional advertising spend as well with radio and television. Whatever you need to help your healthcare organization grow and move forward, Guarantee Health Solutions is here to help you do that. Hospitality is a big focus with them, as I mentioned, making sure the patient experience is a wonderful one. They can help train your staff and make sure that things run smoothly and efficiently. It's full service right here under our roof at Guarantee Health Solutions. Check them out online, GuaranteeHealth.com. That's GuaranteeHealth.com. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. We bring our Monday shows each and every week. Okay. So let's talk about this LSU baseball offense and what I would like to see moving forward. We know one of the things that we championed about this team in the pre-conference and early in the season when they were hitting like crazy is the depth that LSU has on this roster. Their ability to stack lineups with advantageous matchups hitter for hitter. If you want to play a right-handed second baseman, you can with Braden Simpson. You want to play a right-handed first baseman? You can with John Pearson. Need a DH to be left-handed? You got tons of those with Tanner Reeves. You can put Mason Braun in there. You need a backup catcher? You've got a super talented one in Omar Cerna. You can shuffle things around at third base with Caraway and then with Dardar. Reeves can play there as well. You've got athleticism. You want to get William Patrick in there to play D. Like there are a lot of pieces that you can use. And Jay Johnson is not really using them as much now as depth pieces. He's looking for answers. And you're seeing a lot of different guys get a shot. Daniel Harden hits a home run late in the game on Saturday to draw LSU within 1. He's back in the lineup on Sunday. He also got a start last Wednesday in Lafayette. You saw Jack Ruckert get a couple of starts at second base. They're trying to shore things up defensively there and see if he can't provide a little bit of a spark as a left-handed hitting second baseman. You've seen Seth Dardar move around. He went to third base and started there in Carraway's absence in the game on Sunday. Mason Braun has played a little bit. He was in left field in the game on Sunday. And so what I would like to do is maybe pare that down just a little bit. And in doing so, I'm going to start in left field. If you've got Mason Braun and Daniel Harden in the game, Daniel Harden needs to be playing left field to me. Now, the folks that say, well, why do you have a first baseman playing left field? And I think Matt actually tweeted that too, but I got multiple texts about that. Mason Braun does play some first base. He's been an outfielder his whole life. He's not a great one. He's not a fast one. And I think he's probably a first baseman in professional baseball, and he might be a first baseman on LSU's team next year. But it's not like he's trying to learn outfield. He's played outfield his entire life. He told us that in week 2 in a post game. He was like, yeah, they have first base listed on everything, but like I've always played outfield my whole life. So I would have Daniel Harden out there in left field instead of Mason Braun. So if both those guys are in the lineup, go with the more athletic guy, the faster guy in left field. Now that point's going to resolve itself when Chris Stanfield comes back. And for everybody that's going, when Stanfield come back? I don't know when Chris Stanfield is coming back. And I mentioned this on the show last week, and I'll reiterate it here. Jay Johnson does not talk about injuries. He does not. And that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. We've gone over that song and dance a million times. You want to tell me exactly what's going on with the injury? I'm fine with that. You want to withhold that information? I'm completely fine with that too. But when you do withhold information, while you feel like you are potentially not compromising an advantage by not letting the other team know what the issue is, you also welcome speculation. Like, that's just part of the deal. And when Chris Stanfield slides into the catcher and shakes his hand out, and he's got swelling in his hand, and he doesn't play for 3 to 4 weeks after that, I'm going to speculate that there was some sort of significant issue with that injury, that there was some sort of hairline fracture or bone bruise or something fairly significant. It wasn't just, my hand hurts a little bit, I'll take a couple of days off. He's been out for a month. So something happened to his hand. But we feel like he is going to return to action at some point, and this resolves itself because he's going to go play left field, and he's going to play good defense, and he's going to hit, 295-ish with a lot of singles and some doubles, and you'll take this rotating left field thing and throw it away because Chris Stanfield's going to be the left fielder. As far as the infield pieces go, I would continue to play Seth Dardar every day. They're doing that right now, but there's rotation. Reeves played a little bit, and then he didn't, and Simpson plays sometimes, and then he doesn't, and then Carraway has played most of the time at third, and then he came out. I am going to bet on Seth Dardar and his track record as a guy who was the best hitter at Kansas State last year, who did a pretty good job early in the fall of hitting, and then hit a little bit in the early season. I'm going to bet on him. Even against left-handed pitching, I'm going to play Dardar every day. And if you want to get creative at third base, you can. I wouldn't. I would keep Carraway there because he has played good defense to this point. There is a risk defensively if you put Dardar over there, if you put Tanner Reeves over there, you've got defensive potential issues, and Carraway has been good defensively, so I would leave him there. That's going to mean a reduction in playing time for Braden Simpson and Tanner Reeves and Jack Ruckert and potentially Mason Braun at times, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I would tighten things up a little bit, and I think that's probably what Jay Johnson is going to do. It's tempting at this point to keep pulling levers because you're not getting what you want, and you're trying to catch lightning somewhere in a bottle. But I instead of trying to find that, I would instead bet on track record. And track record means Chris Stanfield when he's healthy. To me, track record is Seth Dardar. Track record is Trent Carraway. That's what I would go with. You can get creative at DH. You want to throw Pearson in there against a lefty? Okay. You want Braun to get at bats? I would probably do that. I'm not inclined to give Tanner Reeves a ton of at bats at this point. He is a talented player who had a monster year in junior college, and it just hasn't been a great offensive option for LSU. And I don't know that Jack Ruckert is ready to hit at an SEC level. I like his glove, and if you want to use him as a defensive replacement, I think that's perfectly reasonable in the 8th or 9th inning because you've got defensive issues at second base. But I would I would limit some of those playing time. And then the other piece of this puzzle is catcher, where I'm perfectly fine with what they're doing right now. I'm perfectly fine with giving Cade Arambidi Saturdays off. You want to give him Tuesdays off as well? Fine. They need him to hit. And he did early in the season. And he did all fall. I don't believe that Cade Arambidi is going to be overmatched by SEC pitching when he gets to that this week, because he saw SEC pitching all fall, and Cade Arambidi was LSU's leading batting average hitter in the fall scrimmages. Led the team. Better than Curiel, better than Brown, better than Milam, better than Stanfield, better than all of them. He had the highest batting average on the team, and he started out like gangbusters. He hit a ball 110 miles an hour in Jacksonville. I think he is going to hit, but you do need to lighten his workload a little bit defensively, so you let Cerna go out there. I need better defense from the catchers, both of them. Had some defensive issues back there, but we're talking about offense right now, and I'm comfortable with what they're doing with Arambidi back there. I gave you the numbers in the first segment of the show. I'll revisit them now because you're talking about an hour and 20 minutes since we got into them. But I do not believe that Cade Arambidi is going to hit 130 for much longer. I don't believe that Zach York is going to hit 185 for much longer. I don't think Stephen Milam is going to hit 148 for much longer. Trent Carraway, 181. Seth Dardar, 130. Braden Simpson, 231. These are the numbers over the last 8 games. All of these guys are hitting below 231. And Arambidi, York, Milam, and Carraway are all hitting below 190 over the course of 8 games. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that is a reasonable expectation for these guys. So to me, I asked Buzzy in the last segment, like, what's your concern level? He said a 3. I'm probably pretty close to that. I'm going to bet on the track record of Jay Johnson, on the track record of a lot of these guys. I'm going to trim down the shuffling. I'm going to trim down some of these late game pinch hit opportunities, and I'm going to go with my guys and let them fight their way out of this, because the track record suggests that Seth Dardar is going to break out of this. The track record suggests that Trent Carraway is going to hit a little bit. The track record suggests that Zach York can hit. And so I'm going to bet on those things. It's tough when everyone goes through it at once. It makes you want to do something drastic. And the fact of the matter is that it probably doesn't have to be very drastic. It probably just needs to be more at-bats. The law of averages wins out. These guys are pretty good hitters. They hit a lot in the fall. They hit a lot for 2 weeks, and they haven't for the last 2 weeks. And it's not like the competition has drastically changed. If you were crushing these awful teams and then you stepped up into the SEC and you went completely flat, you would have a good reason for that. You have not elevated your level of competition. I don't think there's a huge difference between Sacramento State and Milwaukee, Sacramento State and Kent State, Indiana and Northeastern. Like, you're playing similar level of competition, and the output is drastically worse. I think it's just a bad spot. I really thought Friday was going to snap him out of it. And I think it was probably pretty jarring on Saturday and Sunday when they reverted back to being awful at the plate. But Jay Johnson's a great coach. These guys are pretty good hitters. And I think LSU's going to figure this out. And if the pitching continues to take the steps it is, I think there's reason for optimism. It's not a popular thing to say at this point. Maybe it's homerism. We'll see. But right now, they're just all fighting at the same time. I would keep throwing them out there and see exactly what happens. Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Step aside, 30 more minutes to go. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. Looking for an SUV? What a time to get an SUV. They got gorgeous ones at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Looking for a Tahoe? Looking for a Suburban? They got them up there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. If you're looking for a Yukon, looking for a Denali, they got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Check out the inventory. It's all online there at FabryChevrolet.com. Incredible deals on trucks this month, up to $11,000 off Silverados, up to $13,000 off of Sierras. If your lease is about to come up or it's just time to get behind the wheel of a new ride, go check out the Fabry family, their new location, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Short drive from Baton Rouge, short drive from Point Capipara, short drive from the Felicianas, Short drive from just north of Baton Rouge, as well as Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions, online at GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. I'll tell you, my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services, time to get that Generac home standby generator. And if you're going to do that, you got to go through the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Neil and Melissa have been running Boudreaux's Electrical for 40 years. They are Louisiana to the core. And that's the beauty of working with them. You're working with a local family-owned business. They've been at it for 4 decades. You can get a Generac home standby generator from the big box stores, right? But what kind of customer service are you going to get with that generator? Who's going to handle the service and the maintenance? Who's going to monitor it? If you get it from one of the big box stores, do you even know? Boudreaux's Electrical, you're going to get someone local. A local team's going to come install that generator. They're going to monitor it to make sure that it's ready to spring into action when you need it. Storm season is always right around the corner here in South Louisiana. So if you want to be protected from that and the power outages that come with it, Boudreaux's Electrical Services is your stop. Give them a call at 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389. That's 225-300-9389. It's Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Busy day in the National Football League. A lot of free agents agreeing to terms with new teams. We assessed the Saints situation in the first hour. DeMario Davis leaving for the Jets, but the Saints making big splashes with the top available guard on the market in David Edwards. They also go to Jacksonville and grab running back Travis Etienne to fill that void on the roster. So I thought just 2 really, really good moves for New Orleans right out of the chute. And now we see another move that involves the New Orleans Saints, but it's another departure from the defense, and it is Alontae Taylor. You thought this was coming. Alontae Taylor tweeted a goodbye to New Orleans over the weekend via his social media account, and he is headed back home to Tennessee. He's a native Tennessean, of course, played for the Vols. And the Titans paid big for Alontae Taylor, a 3-year deal worth $60 million. $42 million guaranteed, so a $20 million a year potential over 3 years for Alontae Taylor. That is a hefty price tag for the Tennessee Titans to put on him. They obviously feel he's going to be a key piece to their defense. Tennessee also signed Cordell Flott, former LSU Tiger, in this free agent cycle. So Alontae Taylor moving on from the Saints. He will join the Tennessee Titans. And now the Saints do have a need at corner. And I think it's something that they're going to have to address in free agency or in the draft. And honestly, because you were looking at the move, I like to assess these moves and then consider what it may mean for the draft. Because when you draft 8th in the draft, you're getting a starter. Like, that has to be a starting player. And so you start to look at the spots that the Saints have filled, it becomes unlikely that you will use on an offensive lineman. You've got your offensive line set. You went and got a left guard today. It's unlikely that you're going to use it on Jeremiah Love because you went and got a running back today, and you've got your starter at that position. And so now, is it possible that they would go to a cornerback at the 8th pick in the draft, potentially Mansour Delane from LSU? I think that is possible. You've got Kool-Aid McKinstry out there who you feel like you need to keep developing as an outside corner. He had kind of a bumpy last couple of years. But you also are moving on from Alontae Taylor, who was a reasonable player for you in the slot, and you've got a vacancy there, and maybe that's a spot that Mansour Delane can jump in and fill in if you're going to do that. I'm curious, Jordan, your thoughts on losing Alontae Taylor. I think that's a tall price tag. I didn't want the Saints to go to $20 million a year for Alontae Taylor, but it does leave a hole in your defense.
Yeah, it does. I'm not too worried about losing Alontae. Alontae, he was good at what he did. He was in the slot. He was a very excellent blitzer, but he was a slot cornerback, and I don't think the Saints are in the business to be paying a slot cornerback $42 million guaranteed, $60 million overall. You know, shout out to him. Go get your money by all means, but it's not oh my God, we lost prime Marshawn Lattimore. The sun will come up tomorrow. So you're looking at the draft. Now, that would be cool to get Mansour Delane right there. That would be a LSU ties, of course, I would like that. But again, it's a slot cornerback. I don't think that this is Darrell Reeves or something trying to replace that. The Saints will be okay.
Saints will be okay in that spot. It's interesting because you had that era. It was brief, but you had an era there where you had Lattimore and Adebo and Alontae Taylor were kind of your three guys, and now you've completely overhauled that room that was a real strength for the Saints towards the end of the Dennis Allen era, and now you're looking at it as kind of a question mark at this point. Do you have the development, or do you have the talent out wide? In the NFL, you got to cover. you got to cover. So I think it's a situation where the Saints need to go spend. They clearly had priorities here. Number one on the board was guard. You had to get that, and they knocked it out of the park with that move today. Then you needed some help at running back. You could have gotten that in the draft. You could have gotten it here, and they did that as well. I think that now the corner now catapults toward the top here. You need an impact edge rusher. You need a corner. You need a wide receiver. Those are the three spots that you've really got to shore up at this point. And that becomes obvious when you don't bring back Alontae Taylor. We thought that was essentially going to be what happened, and it certainly is. So the reporting from Athletes First there, Trevin Smith, Ian Rappaport tweeted it as well. Alontae Taylor moving on to the Titans. 3-year deal, $60 million with $42 fully guaranteed. Also, just housekeeping from the NFL. It's a very, very busy day. Mike Evans leaving the NFC South. He will depart the Bucs, where he's the all-time leading receiver there, over 13,000 yards. He is headed to the San Francisco 49ers.
Love it.
On a 3-year deal.
Yeah, that's
for
crazy.
Mike Evans. I mean, this is a guy that was playing college football back in 2013. He's been in the NFL for a while. He is now on a 3-year deal for San Francisco. That seems like a tall deal. They've got some skill players that I think a little past their prime there. With McCaffrey and obviously Evans. They offloaded Deebo Samuel, who's probably lost a step as well, but still they've got a lot of money tied up into some aging playmakers is what they've got.
They do, man, and it's a beautiful day. A day where Mike Evans leads the division. The Saints shore up the O-line. We're just missing the lottery at this point. The Saints are just so close. But I will say this, Hunt, what I do appreciate is that now we're getting closer to the draft, and you're seeing, obviously, free agency has started. We're seeing the Saints make moves and here and there, but it's starting to shore up who we're really going to pick at 8. You're starting to see the clouds part and the sun starting to come out again. So again, like you said, pass rusher, Bain, everybody's saying he might fall arm length. I would be okay if Bain falls to you at 8. That would be cool. Monso Delane, that would be cool too. I'm not on board with the Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon, or Jordan Tyson. That would be cool regardless. But you're starting to see the sun starting to come through the clouds a little bit. So I appreciate that the most, honestly. Some
veteran quarterbacks on the move. Mitchell Trubisky headed to Tennessee. Marcus Mariota headed back to Washington on a 1-year deal. I was curious if the Saints were going to jump into that veteran market, if in fact they were able to trade Spencer Rattler, if somebody wanted to jump in on that. I'm kind of indifferent about that whole deal. If you could get an asset for Spencer Rattler, I would like to do that, and then you could maybe bring in a veteran. But some of those veterans are kind of flying off the shelf here, so it seems like Rattler might be back with New Orleans if they don't have a taker there. Something happens every 5 seconds. Every time I refresh Twitter, there's another signing popping up. So I'm just trying to stay focused on what's going on. But to me, as I said at the top of the show, and I'll reiterate it here. Even with the departure of Mario Davis, the departure of Alontae Taylor, I believe the Saints are better right now than they were 3 hours ago because you shored up offensive line and because you went and got a veteran, productive running back. That's the most important thing the Saints can do to help the development of Tyler Shuck is to protect him and to run the ball. And they could not do either last year. He played through it. He made it work.
Yeah.
But your environment could be a little bit more conducive to quarterback development if you can do those two things. And you got probably the best guard on the market, and you got a proven 1,000-yard back on a 4-year contract to bring in with Alvin Kamara. So I think that what the Saints have done is really good. It's interesting just how much optimism is oozing into the black and gold here.
Too much.
When all you had to do is rewind to October, and it was gloom and doom. Now it's optimism season because everybody's healthy and nobody's lost a game, and you have the opportunity to go add some pieces. But I do feel like the Saints are moving in the right direction, and that's an exciting thing. They've made some really positive moves today on the free agency side of things, and they also added a punter. The punter,
yeah, man, shout out the punter.
They added a punter who played at Tulane. 4-year deal for a punter.
I know that was Mickey. You see the Hunt. That's the thing though. Mickey will do something like that and then follow that up with getting the best guard on the market and getting Travis Etienne. So it's like, what? Oh, okay, never mind. You got it, Mickey. My fault. I'll tell you
Interesting
this.
stuff.
I'll tell you this. I cannot believe I'm actually sitting here and the Saints are not shopping on the clearance rack.
Yeah.
Like, usually you have to wait a couple of days. Like at the first 2 days of free agency, got to pass.
Well, you're 118 million over the cap this time of year most of the time instead of 20 under. You're Ross Jackson. They're 20 million under the cap. That's a beautiful
That's basically
thing.
nothing for the Saints. That's nothing. So
Beautiful.
we're sitting here talking about the Saints signing free agents, and usually if today's Monday, you're doing that on a Wednesday because everybody else then got signed.
How about Cordell Flott with the Titans? 3-year, $45 million contract for a third-round pick in year 4. That's a heck of a go for DBU's latest rich person, Cordell Flott. So my guess is that we'll take a timeout and then we'll come back and more NFL news is broken. Either way, if it has or it hasn't, we'll talk about some things and we'll close it up with some take it or leave it. It's a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. My buddy just texted me, said he got a tee time at Pebble Beach later this week. That may not be you. You may not be as lucky as my guy. But you can go play Pebble Beach on the simulator at Swing Easy Golf Club. I did it. I played the 7th hole 600 times, literally. You streamed it on YouTube. But you can go check it out, Swing Easy Golf Club. It's a great place to go hang out. You can play Pebble Beach, play Cypress Point, you can play Spyglass Hill. You can play where they play that famous golf tournament every April and give the jacket out. That course is right there for you as well. And you can also just work on your game, put on the driving range setting. They got cold beer in there, got seltzers, got some comfortable seating, television, the turtle box for some tunes. Make an afternoon of it. Make an evening of it. Beautiful thing. You can play golf at 10 o'clock at night, Swing Easy Golf Club, because it's indoors on the simulator. Go see them at Segan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com. Swingeasygcbr.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions. Guarantee Health Solutions, guiding healthcare forward. GuaranteeHealth.com.
Monday show is brought to you by Guarantee Health Solutions, GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com. New college baseball rankings came out today. LSU, as expected, took a pretty significant tumble across the board. Interestingly, D1 Baseball and Baseball America and Perfect Game all had the Tigers at 13. The coaches dropped LSU down to number 17 in their poll. So Tigers with a big dip, as you would expect. You're talking about a team that lost 4 out of 5. That's a tough scene. So not the rankings are irrelevant, but it's just a one data point to look at, and LSU has dipped a good bit. It was a weird weekend in SEC baseball. Vanderbilt lost a game to North Dakota State 5-2. You saw Florida have to fight off a sweep of High Point, and they fought off the sweep of High Point on Sunday with 3 consecutive bases loaded walks. They were losing entering the 9th inning and potentially getting swept by High Point. So not a great effort for them. Arkansas lost the game yesterday to Stetson 4-1, and they are trailing Stetson today 6-4 in the 9th inning. They've got 2 outs to push 2 runs across, or they're going to split a 4-game series with Stetson. So that's not a great look there. Georgia had a rough weekend. So it was weird because you look at that schedule and you go, well, everybody's scheduling a cupcake this weekend. The SEC is just going to dominate, and maybe everybody was looking forward. Maybe everybody didn't play very good baseball, but there are a lot of losses taken by SEC teams over the weekend in the final pre-conference weekend. So we'll jump into league play coming up on Friday. LSU will travel to Vanderbilt and play the Commodores. The only team that is undefeated in the SEC is now Texas, who is ranked number 2, just about across the board behind UCLA, who has been pretty awesome. So LSU back in action tomorrow against Creighton. We'll talk about it on the show. Creighton plays its home games at Charles Schwab Field. LSU feels like a long way from Charles Schwab Field right this very second, but it'll be Tigers and Blue Jays coming up tomorrow. Arkansas strikes out there, so they're down to their last out. Could drop their second consecutive game to Stetson over this wraparound weekend series. I'll let you know if something happens over the next 4.5 minutes. But for right now, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so the last couple of weeks we have talked about Malik Willis at length, and so we finally got an answer to our question: where's Malik Willis going to go? So Malik Willis is heading to the Miami Dolphins on a 3-year, $67.5 million contract. And as you know, the Dolphins also cut Tua today. So are we saying Malik Willis over Tua? Take it or leave it?
I would probably leave that, but it is what it is. How much dead money are the Dolphins taking on?
90, I think it was like 99 million.
90 million is a fat chunk of dead money for the Miami Dolphins. That's a hard way to run a franchise when you got 90 million coming off the books that you can't use. That's brutal.
Even better, Hunt. There's a lot of reports saying that Tua can play on a vet minimum contract this year because he has like 60-something guaranteed that the Dolphins have to pay. And so the Falcons are trying to bring him in to be their backup or maybe starting quarterback. We'll see what Michael Penix's knees give out every other game. So we're looking at a situation where the Saints could be having this resurgence and you get to play Tua Tagovailoa twice a year. I just can't lose right now.
Turnovers.
Oh, my God. Cannot lose. Okay, so the Indianapolis Colts are going to keep their wide receiver Alec Pierce, who set a free agent record for wide receivers with his 4-year, $116 million deal. This is where it gets tricky. In his 4 years in the NFL, he's only had one 1,000-yard season. So major overpay. Take it or leave it.
That seems like an overpay to me. I'm gonna take that.
I'll take it.
That's a significant chunk of change. With the salary cap up over $300 million now. Like, folks,
I know it's crazy though.
Folks are spending cash. There's no doubt about it. The Saints finally got in on the mix. I saw Ross Jackson just tweet out. He was like, the Saints are never active in the first hours.
Never.
You have to wait till the market gets set and let all the high price guys, and then you swing in and undercut things on the back end. That's been the Mickey Loomis way. Not anymore. Going for the top dollar guard.
You know what's crazy? The one time I can say, that actually did work out for Mickey in a good favor was when they got Chase Young kind of for like half price, and they ended up re-upping him. And this contract looks amazing right now compared to these other guys getting signed. So Mickey keeps winning, man. I hate this. I hate it, but I love it.
You love it.
Yeah, I know. According to Adam Schefter, there's not been any ground being set on this new refs contract going on. So they're said that the contract negotiations between the NFL and the executives and the referees are not in a good place. As you know, the refs are part-time employees. They're not full-time. So the current agreement is set to expire in May, meaning the possibility of using replacement officials is on the horizon. So round 2 of replacement officials. Take it or leave it.
That was a disaster. Wasn't that the Hail Mary in Seattle?
The
touchdown. Oh, my gosh. That was bad enough that we all noticed it. I mean, when they went to those replacement refs. Oh my goodness, can't do that. That worked out beautifully for the refs union.
Oh yeah,
they're just a complete butcher show in Seattle, and now you kind of get what you want. All my labor discussions is focused on baseball right now, and I'm terrified about it.
Oh, well, I mean, but we know baseball, they kind of need the salary cap though.
Well, they're not going to get it because the players are not going to budge.
So what do you think's gonna happen? I mean,
they're going to get a lockout. I mean, I don't. Apparently, the owners have put aside this huge kitty of like a couple $2 billion that they're going to be able to draw from in the event that they can't play. I don't know if the players have anything similar.
I
to
doubt
that
they
point.
have anything like that. So
we'll see who blinks first, but it's going to be terrible.
Oh man, well, I mean, again, we don't want these replacement refs, especially a season where we need the Saints to actually make a move. Do not need to be getting killed by the refs early in the season. NFL, y'all are a $1 billion organization. Multi-billion. Pay the refs. That's not hard, man. Just pay the refs. We already don't like them enough. Just pay them, man. We don't need some replacements. That's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right. Arkansas is still clinging to some hope. They got runners on first and second with 2 out in the ninth. They trail Stetson 6-4. If they lose, they would drop to 12-5 on the season pre-conference. It's kind of been a bumpy go in the last couple of weeks for Arkansas and for LSU as well, two of the teams that you figure will be there at the end. But they got work to do to fight off the Stetson Hatters from DeLand, Florida. We talked to Buzzy earlier in the show. Buzzy and LSU got swept in DeLand in 2007, which incidentally is the last time LSU lost 4 games pre-conference. So all comes full circle. The Hatters always involved. We'll see if in the next 90 seconds if they can get it out, and I'll let you know. If not, then you won't. But we'll close out the show. Telling you that if you missed any of the show, catch it on demand. I talked the first 15 minutes about LSU's offense. discussed the Saints free agency multiple times. You want to check out any of the latest happenings in Saints free agency, you can do it at louisianasports.net. Also, our Saints content on Hunt on Saints. That's Hunt on Saints. Talked to Buzzy Haydel at 2:00 about some LSU baseball. I gave kind of my thoughts on what they should do with the lineup at 2:15 as well. So plenty to check out on demand. You can find it wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. We always do very much appreciate that. That's it for us here on this Monday. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Have a safe and happy Monday. We'll back tomorrow. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci. Check out Marucci. What a gem here in Baton Rouge. Go take a tour where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball. A couple of ex-pros and their trainer started this up in 2004 in a backyard shed. Fast forward 22 years, the best in the game used Marucci equipment, and you can see where they make 1,200 bats every single day if you take a tour. Check it out online, maruccisports.com/campus-tour. And here's the deal they'll make you. If you take that tour, you get that ticket. 20% off the Campus Tour store and in the hitter's house. So take your youth league team. Take your family. Got a softball team? Got a baseball team? Take them to Marucci. Check it out. Arkansas just lost. That doesn't make me sad. Stetson wins. Arkansas probably uses Marucci. Go take a tour of Marucci. Check them out online at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Get those 20% off when you check out the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's all there at Marucci. maruccisports.com.